this. List of awesome things I'm thankful for. Yeah. Sometimes I need reminders things are not all that bad. So I wanted to share a few. Share my friends. It's great to be alive. And here's some reminders why. First one, bubble wrap. When cats do their tongue, like this. I'm also thankful for the little paw pads like the cats and dogs have and the sound it makes. Oh, thanks. I love them. Hey, turn that back on. Oh, no. Change it. Yeah, there, that's better. Music is magical. We can make anything better. Our music can make a video better. The same goes with life. Singing. I call back. Singing. If something's boring, just sing it, and that will make it better. Watching paint dry. It's really cool. Old people who still hold hands. Clouds that look like stuff. One time I saw a cloud that looked like an airplane, and I realized it was an airplane. Imagination. Without it, we wouldn't have airplanes, no internet, pants. We gotta wear them, because if we didn't, it would be sort of awkward. Pants. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Clothes with funny names, like Windbreaker. Birthday cake. No reason at all cake. Just cake. Sorry, we filmed this while I was hungry. Forgiveness! I'm President I ain't perfect. Ain't a word. We all mess up. Come on. Don't mess up and forget to forgive all the mess up. Thankful plants undergo photosynthesis, using the energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide to oxygen, providing us with the air we need to do things like this. I'm bored. Morgan Freeman's voice. Hello, I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm working on it. My voice is changing, but it hasn't changed that much. Bird, I go, bird. I know, I stepped in, but this is my list and my rules. Happiness. Sadness. Sad isn't bad. It helps you know what you care about. People. Sometimes people can be really people-y, but we need each other. Life's better with people in it. Family, friends, you, just being alive. Sometimes we forget how it's just great to be alive. We're breathing. Some days are tough, but we got a lot to be thankful for. We just have to look for it sometimes. Instead, if you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of the world. I did not know that. So what would you add to the list? Let me know. Share this video with someone you're really thankful for. Oh, and of course, also this. Dancing! We're not thankful for all of you. Seriously, thanks for giving us and the whole world a reason to dance. So what you're thankful for, let me know. KP out. Keep going.
All right, back at it. Thanks for letting me share that in the season of being thankful, which we should always be thankful, but I always like those kid president videos because he says it so well. So thanks everybody for joining us, and Roxy, thank you for joining us today as well.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I'm very excited to have this interview with you. I think we never met face-to-face before, is that right?
Me too, right? We're here together today, and I'm excited to talk about your story. And you know, the goal of my calls doing these is this is the first time we've been blasting it out on Facebook Live. So hopefully a lot of people in your network are watching, and maybe people that normally don't join in that are catching on Facebook. But I started doing these when COVID hit, just thinking let's all have a way to network and get together, and I've just kept doing them. So a lot of people that are on the call, assisting, you know, watching right now have been on the call, and I have a YouTube channel where all these are saved. So I'll share the link here in a little bit. So go back and look at all the past episodes. And today we're focused on Roxy, and hopefully we can all learn something, be inspired, and also pick one thing that we can learn from the call and put into action and improve our daily life. So Roxy, I'm going to kind of introduce you from your bio, and then we'll jump right into it. So Roxy is originally from Peru, single mother of 3 kids, and she's been an entrepreneur since she was 17 years old. Came from Peru when she was 21 years old. In Peru, had a small shoe factory and 3 clothing and shoe stores, and then sold everything to pay to get her ticket and to start learning English and to pay the tuition to learn English in the United States. Later continued her education studying business, marketing, and some accounting. And I believe you went to BYU for a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about that more. You graduated from there. and always keep learning. Certified in NLP, multiple real estate courses, including multifamily. She's done a variety of businesses since a very early age, and 2 restaurants before, one in Salt Lake City, one in Sandy, called K Rico Peru. Imported tires from Japan. Part of her family is from Japan, so learned to be honest and work hard with them. And then also has a Hispanic side and love for value and family, service, and help to each other. Her grandmother, father, and mom unfortunately passed away 3 months ago because of COVID. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Much sympathies there. And it was a terrible and dramatic experience that no one expected. But Roxy believes things happen for a reason. God gives the hardest things to the strongest people and the ones that can handle it. Working with the pain of losing the ones you love most has been the most challenging, but she's not planning to stop anytime soon, and wants to be a positive influence and a positive effect in other people's lives. So she believes that you don't start living until you face death sometimes, and she's not sure if that's true, but it definitely changes you. Before we get into your story, since your kind of bio kind of talked about that, if you're okay with it, maybe let's just talk right off the get-go about kind of maybe what you've gone through the last 3 or 4 months with your family.
Wow, I wasn't. I want to expect to be like more energetic, but yeah, that's something that is too hard to talk. Well, we don't leave that for later.
Yeah, that's totally great. That's totally great. Okay, well, Roxy, tell us a little bit about you. You were born in Peru, came from a family mix of Japanese and Hispanic. Talk a little bit, just briefly, about growing up in Peru.
Yes, well, in Peru, a little crazy. You know, I love sports, so I used to play soccer in the streets with my friends. A very happy childhood. I spent time in the beach with my family every summer. Very, very nice childhood that I had with, my parents gave us. But then I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I started doing business very early, and I got my shoe factory, a small one, but I got 3 stores, and I was doing good. So I was 17, 18, but my parents didn't want me to work. I didn't have to, they say, we're here to help you study and get a career. We don't want you to work. But I was doing very good. I was making a lot of money, and I was so excited, so young, say, oh, I have money, I have my business. Yeah, this is going, I don't need to study, But then I got sick in that time too, and it stopped me. I was the only one running the stores and buying the materials for the shoes. So when I got sick, I got my sister helping me, and she was so young, but she still helped me. And in that moment, I thought that the importance of learning, because I was making all this money, and all of a sudden I was losing it. So I say, I think I need to study, but I'm not going to study in Peru. I need to go and to study to a place that is going to be the best, so I can be better and do better things. And I came to the United States because of that, You
have a connection, or how did you navigate figuring out that you wanted to come here at such a young age?
My parents gave me the option to go to Japan, because my great-grandfather is Japanese, so we have a lot of people, most of my family lives there. And they say, well, my parents were living there too. I mean, they were working. My dad was importing Japanese cars to Peru, and he partnered with a guy from Dubai also, and they were doing that in that time. So they say, okay, you're gonna go to school, come to Japan, and learn business and do things. And I say, no, I want to go to America. But I don't have anybody in America. I don't have family. How are you going to do that? I say, well, I don't know. I just want to go to America, because business, when you talk about business, is United States, the best, right? So say, no, I want to go there. So they contacted a friend. They live in Florida, and they received me in their house for a little bit. And like I said, I sold after I got sick, and I realized that it's important to get educated and all that. So I sold everything. I got my ticket, and in the beginning, they said, okay, let's do, they didn't want me, my parents didn't want me to come here. So they said, why you just don't try it out and, you know, go and see what is going on there, and then you come back and decide.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. But no, I was planning to stay. So I was like, okay, I contacted the school, I registered, I pay the tuition with my money. And I was packing all like 3 big bags, and my family said, hey, you're just going there for a little bit, right? And I said, yeah, why you're taking so much, so much of your stuff? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So I had to unpack everything, and I just came with a little carry-on, and but I didn't come back. I didn't go back to Peru after 20 years, you know?
So you haven't been back to visit?
No, 10 years in that time, sorry. Yeah, I visited, my first visit was 10 years after I came back. And I stayed there for a little bit more than 2 years for the first time. And then after that, I've been just traveling every year, 2-3 times a year. But yeah, it was a challenge because I didn't know any English. You know, I was like, and it was so hard for me because I was going to school to learn English in Peru, so I thought I knew something. But when I start speaking, it's like, no, I understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't understand anything. So, and it was, I'm so used to be confident, and I'm so used to be doing things that I feel like I want to do. And now I'm getting rejection, and I'm getting people that say, hey, we're in America, you're supposed to learn English. You're supposed to speak English, you know? And I say, well, I'm learning, you know, I'm learning. So that was my aptitude. And even at work, I mean, I started working my first job. I work in my first job, I was making $6.25 per hour in McDonald's, my first job, you know, and they say, okay, can you be a cashier? And I say, yeah, sure. But I didn't know English. So they say, okay, no, doesn't work. Go to the drive-through. And I went to drive-through, and they say, can you say, have a nice day? I say, I'll try, let me try to practice. I was practicing. I was screwing up on the orders. They said, you know, Roxy, go to the back. So, but I didn't like that because the rejection, and I would feel stupid, right? Like you feel stupid that, you know, you're smart, but now you feel stupid because you don't know how to do things.
Yeah.
And it was a weird feeling. So I said, you know, I'm not gonna accept this. I woke up 6 in the morning every day. I went to that restaurant to work for free in the mornings. And then I went to school for like from 9 to 3 to learn English. And then after that, I went to my regular shift to work from 4 to 10 every day.
Awesome.
But in the morning, it's like every morning I was going there and I had to run because I didn't have a car. I was running there, go and help the manager. And they said, well, you're not in the schedule today. I said, no, that's okay. I can work for free, but I want to learn, you know? So one day, one of the regional managers saw me and they say, hey, what are you doing here? And you don't have the uniform. Oh, I'm just helping. And she's like, okay. Well, he noticed my attitude that I wanted to learn. So he said, I'm going to send you to the management program. And is that okay with you? I said, yeah, sure. You know, and I started going to the management program without knowing English. So they were doing the class and I was like, what are they saying? And I was asking a person next to me, and in the beginning, they were, okay, they were translating a little bit, but they were long hours. And I was like, they were, Roxy, you know, later. I'll explain it later.
Yeah.
So now what am I gonna do? I don't know, I don't understand. So I was asking now, because I'm going to that program, I have a different shift manager or manager in preparation, something like that. So I have the employees list, you know, I can tell the employees, hey, can you tell me what it says here or something? And they were helping me a little, translating. And what I decided to do in that time is like, you know, I'm going to memorize the book because they give me a book like this. And with questions and answers. And I say, I have to memorize it. There's no other choice. So I stay late memorizing the book, the questions, the answers. I didn't know sometimes what it meant, you know? So when when the graduation for everybody started, they called everybody but me. And I was so embarrassed because I was like, dang, I screwed up. Everybody's graduating but me. And so the people were there, the person, like, they were managers for everywhere, with their supporting the groups and all that, and a big stage. So when the person in the stage say, hey, did we call everybody? And they say, my manager next to me is Roxy, they didn't call you. And they say, I know, I was so embarrassed. And then they say, you have to raise your hand. They say, no, I'm not gonna raise my hand. And he said, no, you have to, because they didn't call you. They're saying if they call everybody. And I say, yes. So I raised my hand, and when I did, they say, Roxy, I'm sorry, we didn't call you, but the reason that we didn't call you is because you were the only one that did 100% in the test. And we have a special prize for you, and because of that, they give me a shift to run in McDonald's after like 5 months of working there without knowing English and all that. So I was so surprised that, I was able to accomplish that in so short of time. But also, I didn't know English. So I was like, how am I going to do this? But I memorized everything in the store, So
That's really,
yeah, somebody came and complained about the food or something. They called the manager. So now I'm the manager, and they say, can I talk to the manager? And say, they talk to me, and I have to bring somebody with me. Can you translate? And they translate, and that was able to solve problems, But then that regional manager came to visit one day, and they say, and I was trying to impress him. So I started going and do more things. And he say, hey, Roxy, what are you doing? And I say, well, I'm trying to help everybody. And he's like, you're the manager. Now your job is to be sure everybody's doing the job. You're not, if you're staying in one stage helping somebody, the other part of the system is not gonna work.
yeah.
So you're the director. You're here to be sure the system runs. You understand the system, that's why you're here. Now you don't have to do anything. Your job is to direct and be sure all the parts are working right. So it was a big lesson for me because, I thought the manager or the person that leads is the person that does the most.
Mm-hmm.
Not the most, but he taught me something that now as a leader, I have to be sure, understand all parts of the system, and then understand that all the pieces have to run the right way. And that's how I was able to be successful in business in everything that I started. I identify what the system is, and then I be sure it runs the way it's supposed to be to run successful. So if I see somebody succeeding, I watch them, I study that person, and I say, what's the system? Okay, then I implement it for myself, and you just have to believe in the system,
I love it. Well, and I talked a little bit before the call, and I think this theme is already proving through your story where if you didn't have a place at the table, you kind of created a place for yourself, right? And you learned what you needed to learn to be able to get there and get in the spot. And clearly you've hustled and worked and, blood, sweat, and tears to get there. And then the thing I've learned, I've really liked what you've said so far, is your attitude. And it's okay to not know what you don't know, but you know where you're going, and then do whatever you need to do to get there, right? So, well, man, a little story and experience, because that kind of set the groundwork. And so identify the system. And as we get into your story and talk about real estate, you've clearly sought out help and mentorship and education to be able to learn what you didn't know, to be able to get in the room that you wanted to get in, and then learn that system and do it. So, okay, cool. So you're kind of progressing, and then as you go along, we'll get to your real estate, but you started doing other businesses. Obviously, you left McDonald's at some point and started your own thing.
Yeah, of course, because now I'm a manager and say, hey, how much money am I making? Now I'm a manager. He said, oh, we're gonna raise you like $1. And I say, $1? Oh my gosh. And they say, and he sit down, he like, how much do you want to make? And I say, well, I'm a manager now. I don't know, $8 or $10. And he's like, hey, do you see that person over there? Yes. She's been in the company for 15 years. And how much, do you know how much she's making? I say, no, $8. And I say, I have to be here for 15 years to make $8. In 15 years, probably gonna have my own restaurant, you know, and I had to. so I was like, no, I'm not gonna stay here any longer. I started looking for more opportunities. And then I came to Utah and I started a little catering business when I was going to LDS Business College to learn business marketing. I studied there business marketing. So I got this little truck, and I was going very early to go do food catering, no, food truck.
Okay.
So I was making good money too there, and while I was going to school, and then after that, I've just been in the variety of and then when I was going to BYU, I started working for this company, doing some first payables, then receivables, and then after also 6 months, I was a manager there, and I worked for them for like 7 years, 6 or 7 years, I don't remember anymore. But after that, I opened the restaurants, you know, and then the real estate.
Well,
other business in between, but I mean, I don't want to talk all the business I've done because I try everything.
Point is, though, that you didn't quit. You keep looking for the fit, and you keep looking for a better opportunity, and really what you really want to do long term in life. And it just took you some time to get there, to learn. I mean, I can't imagine going to another country and, you know, doing all these things where, especially your first story about McDonald's, you didn't even know the language and you were the man.
Exactly. It was like, oh my gosh, they don't understand me. And like some of the guys in Florida, they're from Haiti, so they speak French.
Yeah.
So I have to learn part of their language to communicate with them, you know? So I know how to do, you know, please go and clean the table, please and clean the trash in French, you know? I have to learn it. Because they were using that as, hey, I don't understand you what you say. Okay, I learned your language, and now I'm speaking French with them, and they were doing what I say, you know. But it was challenging because they were trying to get advantage of my weaknesses and try to play different ways. But I was able to go around and find a way. So, and that's the way, you know, when I don't know something, it's like, it's the same concept when you don't know a word in English and you try to say, I know you can do this, but what is the word? I'm describing it, you know? So that's the way I found a way every time in business too, the same thing. You know, I don't know how they did this, but I know you can do it. And because somebody else is doing it. So how am I doing it? I found a way. And that's been helping me in my attitude because I believe that things happen for us, not to us.
Yeah.
And every bad situation that I got through my life, it turned out to be a great situation for a different reasons, you know? So every time something bad happened to me, I'm always with a positive attitude. Is what I have to learn from this. What I have to learn from this and how I can overcome this challenge, because I noticed that after every challenge, I learn something different. I become a better person. So I say, wow, this is a challenge that if I go through this, I'm gonna be a better person after this, you know? So it's exciting to be in different challenges. And for me, it's like, okay, what is next?
What is
next?
With the attitude that I'm going to conquer it, it's meant for me, it's not happening to me. I love it. So, okay, so you're here, you know, learning English, going through these different jobs, doing different restaurants and trying different things on your own. Let's fast forward a little bit because I'm afraid we're going to run out of time, because I know that there's some cool real estate stuff that, you know, it's complex enough to get to where you're at, but then also to understand financing and money and real estate and all that kind of stuff. That's like a whole new level, right? But it goes to show what you just said, and I think I'm going to say it the way you said it, but if they can do it, why can't I do it? You know? Right. I love that attitude. And all this, some of us are maybe a little further ahead of where you're at, or maybe still trying to get to a taller mountain. But you know, that's my one takeaway so far is if that person can do it, why can't I do it? You know, why can't it be you? And so you've kind of owned that, right? And so in 2008, you were saying you kind of had your first dip your toes into real estate, and it maybe didn't go exactly the way you were thinking, but there was a success by persevering. Talk a little bit about that. Your first.
I saw when I got my restaurant, I saw a guy that they were in the restaurant and they were talking about buying houses. They would have a conversation with his friends. So I say, hey, that's something that always got my attention. So I asked this guy, hey, can you teach me how to buy and sell houses? And he's like, okay, yeah, sure, no, but he didn't really teach me, and I started looking more into that because he was talking about, oh yeah, we can make this much, and I said, well, I want to make that much. And so I was like, okay, how can I get involved? So in 2008, I bought this class that cost me $8,000 to join, but they weren't local, so they gave me some classes there online to learn how to get your estimates, to market analysis, how to find houses. So I started looking, and I found this little house, and but it was in 2008, and I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't paying attention to the economy, I was just living my life and whatever I wanted to do. And so I bought this little house. And that time I still had the full-time job and the restaurant. So I bought this house, and then when I was rehabbing it, the price started going down from what I bought it even, So I say, I'm not gonna make any money on this. I lost my money. Okay, so I was living in downtown, which I love it, and I had to move to that house because I couldn't afford both, Then, I got married and I got my kids and all that. So I moved out from that house and I started renting it. But later when I was, getting the divorce, I went to Peru and in Peru I got sick. So I had to stay out. But by that time I saw my restaurants, because when you are in an emotional situation, you probably, you get depressed, you don't want to work, you don't want to do anything, and you just want to, everything that is good to you, you just push it away, right? So I was in that emotional stage in that time. So I saw the restaurants, but like I say, every time I'm running out of money, I invested it, because if I say, oh, I'm gonna lose the money, or I'm running out of money, the best way for me to generate is invested in something. So I saw the restaurants and I knew I'm gonna take a little break. So I invested in a nightclub, in a reception center, another business before I went to Peru. But when I went to Peru, I wasn't expecting to be so long. I got sick over there and it took me more than 2 years to come back. So when I came back, I went to see my business and they were like, well, you disappear. I mean, there's no money for you. What about my investment? No, you can sue me if you want. What? So only one person that paid me what they owe me, but the other ones, they were like, oh yeah, we don't have money for you. That's okay. I mean, you can just get your lawyers you want, whatever. I thought they were my friends. So sometimes it's not the money, but it's more like the relationship that you're building up with somebody that you trust, and the disappointment that I have to go through. So when I came back, I was broke. I was broke. I mean, the money from the restaurants only lasts me for probably a year and a half or close. But then I wouldn't pay that house that I left, that was renting in the beginning, but they stopped paying also, and then nobody paid the rent on that house or the mortgage, And I had to ask somebody here to evict them, and they left, and the house was in very bad condition. And when I came, that was the only thing I had, that house,
What this would have been, what, 2000?
2016, 15, 16.
Okay. So you already owned this house for like 8 years, rented it out for a little bit, left to Peru, came back. Now it's in worse condition than when you got it. Values had maybe started to come up a little bit.
Yes, yeah. Well, the value was a little bit more, but it wasn't enough either, because I tried to do what is it? Not for the short sale.
Yeah.
They suggested me to do a short sale and all that, but I wasn't making any money, and I wouldn't have a place to live. So I say that doesn't make sense for me to sell it right now. I just gonna save it. You know, I'm gonna put refinance it or do. I got a government. They have a program that I apply, and I was able to save it. But I didn't have money for my license plates either. I mean, my cars were without expiration, and so I was like, my kids and all that. I was like, what am I gonna do now? I have to find a job, you know. So my friend, he saw the situation. He said, hey, you can use my car for now, and don't worry, you know, just he helped me with like car seats, a car to use, and then I found a job, and I was making good money in that job. I mean, I was able to quickly recover and start, you know, paying all what it was behind, credit cards, everything. I mean, I was doing a bankruptcy, but I decided not to. So I left it as just like an initiative, but no, I didn't complete it because I started getting on my feet again. But always being an entrepreneur, I wanted to do my own thing. So working in an office, even though it was a nice office and I needed in that moment, it wasn't like the best fit for me.
And now, is this the office where the guy was, your employer was doing real estate? Yeah, you're talking about this. This is kind of your re-entry back to where you're at today, right?
So I came back and I have to work for somebody else. And this guy is like, I think he's part owner of the outlets in Lehigh. You know, and he owns a lot of lands and he's doing multi-families and commercial and new class A offices and things like that. But in the beginning, it was like, okay, I know a little bit, but I don't know what's going on, right? So I'm just doing accounting and some of the financials. But then I saw, you know, he's buying this land, he's building for 3 million, he's refinancing for 5, and he's selling it for 7. What? You know? And I start talking to him. Hey, Ryan, I need to learn about this business. I really like it. I know I can, you know, and how can you? And we're the same age, so we became very good friends. We spent a lot of time talking about business. And one day I got stronger feelings about me doing this as a business. And it was harder for me to go to the office every day because it was the same thing, paperwork, blah, 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 so boring, you know. Of course, I need it for my kids, and I was doing better, and everything was okay now in my life. But I was like, I can't see myself in 10 years here. Not even 1 year. I'm so bored, you know. I want to do this and that, and this is like, my hands are like a prison for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, hey, Ryan, really, I really love working here, but, you know, I don't feel like coming to the office anymore, to be honest. And he's like, what? I say, yeah, Roxy, I was planning long time, you know, because I want to retire and I want to just leave this business running with you. I was counting on you and these other people. Yeah, I understand. And I feel so bad. I mean, it was just a contradiction inside of me, you know, because I love this guy so much. He's saving me basically. You know, originally when I started the job, I asked for the salary and he said, no, we're going to start this. But then after the second month, he gave me a little more than I asked initially. And I was so blessed. I mean, it was a great job. And so now I'm telling him that I have to leave. And I don't know why I'm telling him because I don't have anything else. So.
Yeah. But you could sense that your future was greater than that current experience, even though you were really grateful for it.
Yes, I was so grateful with him. He was a great friend, great, business owner that he was helping me a lot. And now I have this strong feeling that I can't be there anymore. And I don't know what to do because my family is like, are you crazy? You don't have a job. If you lose your kids. And, you know, it's, what? So I say, I know. So it was just, I couldn't sleep. I was going through a very conflict internally about he's a good person. I need the job, but I can't, you know. So finally, I get courage. I talk to him and I explain what happened. Maybe he will give me a solution, you know, or something. But he said, okay, that I understand, Roxy. I'm just like you. I don't know how you're going to stand and be in an office for so long. I understand. So I started looking for somebody, and but it took him 3 months to look for somebody. But in the middle, I was trying to go to house tours, find people involved, or do something because it's getting close that he's finding somebody, and soon I won't have a job, you know. And I'm too crazy because my family, the pressure of your family, no, this is not happening. so anyways, one day he came and he said, Roxy, I felt that I have this strong feeling that I have to introduce you to my business partners. So next board meeting, I want you to be there. I said, okay, so yeah, sure. No? But in that moment, I mean, I didn't know anything. You know, I don't have the knowledge that I have now. So it didn't mean anything to me. I still figured out how he's doing all these big deals and how he's making so much money. What is he doing? Trying to figure it out and learning by myself. And now I'm in this board meeting with all these builders and $1 million people that are coming from Hawaii. Like they're so much money, you know. They can buy cash at a whole mall, like whole, I don't know how many. So, and I'm there, he's introducing me to all these people, and that it didn't mean anything to my life. Like I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have, now if I sit down, of course, with 1 million people, I know what to ask. I know, you know, I learned so much in the
This
last.
was all new to you, and you didn't really know what they were talking about. You didn't maybe know why you were supposed to be in that room, but it made a difference, and it caused you to kind of go in a different direction, right? It maybe it confirmed your feelings that you need to do something else on your own.
Yes, and well, the meeting happens, and nothing changed. You know, nothing changed to me. I just say thank you, Ryan, for doing that, but that's it. So, well, the day came, I left the job. I started living in unemployment for 3 more months, and I said I have 3 months to make this happen. You know, now I found this group that they have a community that I say, oh, they lend money for the houses. Really? Oh, you don't have to have a credit. Really? Okay. Where's Matt? Where's my strong? And I knew your name, but I say, what's this guy lends money and you don't have to have a credit for a house? Yes. Okay. So now I have the knowledge. I have somebody that's going to lend me for a house. What else do I need to do? Just find the deals.
Yeah.
Right? Just find the deals. Okay, that's all I need to do. And I can buy any house, anywhere, as many houses I can. Yes. Okay. Start looking, you know? So I met with a person, and we were sending offers the old way, because now I have different ways. But in the beginnings, I was analyzing every single aspect of the deal, you know, the person, the city, the zoning, the comps. I spent like 1 hour analyzing one property or more, and then writing an offer, sending it out. So I spent so much time doing, but I was doing it full time, and I learned so much on the market, because now I analyze so many properties every day. Mm-hmm. And now I know, I have a sense, oh, what zip code? 84111? Okay, I know how much it's gonna be in that area, the square footage price. You know, what, 84115? Okay, I got it. Three bedroom, 1 bath, or 3 bed, okay, I know the average price, you know? So I didn't have to go through the market analysis anymore. So it was faster, but I still didn't get the results. So I was like, what happened? I'm missing something. So I started looking for people that are successful in the community. And I found a few. So I say, hey, can I work for you? And he's like, well, I can't pay you much. No, free, for free. You know? So, but he still paid me a little bit, one of my friends, and I was working for a wholesaler, and I learned how to find deals as a wholesale price. So my first deal was that I found. I wanted to do a wholesale, but I found another person saying, Roxy, I have this much of money and I want to do flips. I say, okay, I haven't done a flip before, but I've been in so many house tours and being in so many transactions with other people, helping them to do it, you know, just doing something, whatever, but I was helping them. So I knew the process now. Yeah. But I haven't done it by myself. So it's like, okay. And he's like, well, I have this cash right now. I will buy the cash, the whole house with my money, the whole repair with my money. And you've been in this business for a year, right? And I say, yes, but I haven't done any house, right? By myself. I've done it with other people, but not by myself. But I say, I'm a risk taker. Let's do it. So I start calling everybody to figure out how to do it. Brian Pitcher, in the beginning, was a great also resource. He was good. I really appreciate him. He always answered the phone for me.
Yeah, Brian, I was on the team this morning.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing. I mean, he didn't know me, but I asked him questions and he answered all the time. He always pick up the phone for me, and I still don't know how he does it because he's so busy. And I call him and he immediately pick it up, and I was so surprised. Well, anyways, he helped me in the beginning, and I asked so many questions. He answered. I got other people helping too, and I got this deal going. After that, it was just one after the other, one after the other. I didn't stop. I was getting so much success from finding deals that I got 10 in the first quarter in the 2019 when I started. And then all of a sudden I did 20 that year without really knowing how to do it. I mean, I have the idea and I was always asking people how to do it, but I make so many mistakes. But the good part about of all these properties that I was doing is like I bought it right. I bought it so cheap, like on the wholesale price, even though I made mistakes, I didn't lose money. But
again, you just said it again from your first time in Peru to here is you didn't know what you were doing, but you networked, you found people that knew what they were doing. You're obviously super nice and friendly, so they're agreeing.
Yes.
You're also really willing to learn. And then now, let's fast forward to today. And then I know you wanted to share about at least one of your deals. We're maybe not going to have time for all of them. But today, what your world looks like, I know you've gotten a lot better at the wholesaling and finding deals. I get your emails. They very sophisticated and professional, just like all the other wholesales out there. I know you learned from Zach and Kessler.
Zach, the guy from Cell Now. I'm always there with their meetings and what's his name? I'm bad on names. I'm sorry, but
the point is you're not limiting where you're going to find the information. If they're not kind of like letting you in the door, you're asking to be a part of it, right? You're learning, you're jumping in the game so that you can have the knowledge and the resources because you already have the drive. You're not afraid to ask the questions. You're not afraid to fail. And
yeah. I'm embarrassed sometimes, but I have to eat my embarrassment. It's like, oh, I don't know this person. I have to, okay, but I still have to do it. I don't have any choice.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to sometimes go approach somebody, but I know it's going to be good for me. I'm probably going to be good for them because I'm trying to add value also for them. I want to be the best flipper ever because I had so many mistakes before and I want to improve my system. I believe in systems. So I was bugging Taylor Jensen. Hey, Taylor, I need to meet with you. He's like, oh, yeah, next, whatever. Taylor. And I was asking his assistants, everybody. So we were able to meet. He shares so much part of his system. I want to start focusing on doing 7-day flips also soon. So that's why I'm studying the system right now. I'm reorganizing everything. He shared information that probably he didn't share with a lot of people, and I feel so blessed, after we were talking. And he's one of the best that I know that is flipping houses. And
he is.
I'm there with him, right? Because I want to be like him or better. I have to learn from the best to be the best. So you need to identify who are doing deals. How are they doing it? And then just follow the system and believe in the system, If you believe in the system, you won't have those fears that say, oh, I'm going to lose, if I stop working, how am I going to find my deals? If I don't find anything, how am I going to live? I have those fears also sometimes, okay, I have this money for 3 more months. If I don't find any deal in 3 more months, I'm dead. You know, and but I'm gonna find deals. But sometimes you get those thoughts that you have to cancel it immediately because you have to. No, I say I believe in the system. The system works. You know, the system works, and I have faith on the system, and how that's how I be able to generate income every month. Even that I've been in COVID in my house in quarantine, I've been generating income because I also work on myself a lot. You know, I work on improving myself, my my vision boards, you know, gaining confidence. I remember when I first started, I was so afraid that I didn't speak English. People won't talk to me. I mean, if you're going to a house to try to buy a house, why would they sell it to me? You know, I don't even speak well English. I have an accent, and there's somebody else that so many people that are coming to knock on their door, sending postcards every day that have more experience than me. Why would they sell it to me? But I learned that you know, if you are more person oriented, you create a connection, and also if the things that are going to be for you are going to be for you. You know, I have a deal where I asked Zach to help me on the deal because I was going on vacation to Peru actually in that time. Say, hey Zach, I talked to these people. Can you close on that deal because I know you're gonna do it. You're better than me. You can do this deal. I mean, they're ready, you know. So they call this person that was selling at the house, and they wanted to do a little bit more from the offer that he got. So after a month, I came back from my trip. They called me, and I thought it was so surprised because I thought I didn't follow up with Zach. So they come and say, "Hey, Roxy, do you still want the house?" I say, "Yes." And yeah, but can you do this much? So they were asking, basically, they have an appraisal in that house for like 390. Oh no, 210 actually. Sorry, I don't know. Let me go back. It was 210, and they wanted to have at least 190, right? And I was offering 160. So they say, no, and said they put it under, so Zach came, he offered 165, they didn't accept it. They put it under contract for 190, and the guy backed out. You know, after like probably a month, the month I was in Peru.
Yeah.
When I came back, they called me, they didn't call Zach. And Zach offered 165. So they say, hey, Roxy, can you do 165? You know, and I say, oh, maybe, let me think. And I put it under contract that day for 165, you know, and I wholesale it for 190.
That's awesome.
So, like I say, sometimes, and I learned something from that experience, that, you know, when things are going to be for you, no matter if the best person in the world will come as a competition or whatever, you will get what you deserve. If I believe I deserve this, I'm gonna get it. You know, it doesn't matter if I don't speak English, if I'm a woman, if I'm short, if I'm whatever, you know. If the things are gonna come to me because they have to come to me.
Yeah.
And I declare it, I attract it, and they come and they flow, they're gonna come to my life because I believe in that. Everything else doesn't matter, you know, everything else. So I learned that from that lesson, from that deal, and it was so cool, and I was able to make money. And Zach celebrated with me. He's a very nice guy, you know, and he's doing so successfully, and I always follow him too. But yeah, I'm following all the people that are in my business doing the right things. And actually,
Your focus right now, you're mostly making money off of wholesaling and flipping right now, finding deals. Sounds like
yes.
what you've perfected to be your kind of super skill. Clearly talking with people, creating connections and networking.
Yeah, I believe in connections a lot. I think we're in the business of marketing and relationships, right? So relationships for me is the most important. Even I told them, even if I have to lose money, I don't care. Relationship is more important for me, number one. I rather lose money than make my partner or somebody that is trusting on my knowledge and my skills that they lose money. I will feel so terrible to do that. So I do everything on my hands to make this person money. They're number one in the relationship. If they're investing with me, they're more important. And like I say, I don't care if I lose money, if they still have to be at least even or don't lose money or make money. No, I haven't done any transaction that somebody lose money yet, hopefully, thank you God. But that's my main, when I go into a partnership or something, I want the person to feel happy of working with me and make money. So I create value for them and they're gonna do more deals with me.
Yep.
Right? So that's the way I create trust in a world that nobody knows me because I don't have parents that are rich. Nobody knows me. So how I can build relationships and get people to know me, right? Facebook, big thing. In the beginning, and this I learned from Michael Higgins. He said he gave me a homework assignment. He said, Roxy, you have to be live in Facebook. He said, live in Facebook? No way. That's so embarrassing. I don't know what to say. It's gonna be showing my life. Who cares about my life in Facebook? I mean, no way. So he said, well, you have to do it by tomorrow. I say, oh my gosh, okay. So I was like trying to get myself there. And the first one I did was so embarrassing. I presented to him, I copied him and said, hey, I did it. How do you feel? It wasn't that bad. I mean, but now I'm doing live every day, right? Because it works. I mean, starting with the lives, I be able to connect with more people. People were calling me, and I didn't know this. Even when I was sick, they say, Roxy, you were there every day. Now, who am I gonna see or watch every day? So I didn't know people noticed, but I knew that it was good for my business to create connections, to tell them, hey, I'm doing this business. This is what I do. If you want a partner or get to know about this business, call me. Or because I don't know everybody, but I want to get to know people. I wanted to get them to know that I'm doing this deal so I can create more opportunities and do more things, So that's the main reason I do my life every day, even if I'm not ready, because sometimes I get criticized. Say, Roxy, you didn't do your hair or something. That's okay.
Goes on? What's going on? Well, Roxy, this has been so awesome, and I know we probably are not going to have time to talk about your specific deals because I want to respect the hour and cut it off here at 1:00. But I've made a bunch of notes here on the table in front of me as you've been talking, and all of the things you're doing, I'm so excited to see where you're headed, and that's kind of what I want to end with, knowing that we're discounting a lot of what we could have talked about. But I think, like you said, every conversation and happens for a reason, and it goes the way it's supposed to go. I think this is the way it was supposed to go, to kind of give some people that are listening that extra motivation to identify that system that they don't have yet, to make that new connection, to be okay feeling a little embarrassed or whatever, to get to the next person, and to really be motivated by someone else. I'm super motivated. I don't know what it would be like to come to a different country, not know the language, try to break barriers, fail, have multiple people tell you can't do something, and then
rejection, everything.
But where is Roxy headed? This, because I want to end with, if you're okay with it, like, where are you headed? What's your bigger future now? Like, now that you're sitting in that chair and you probably are feeling comfortable that you're headed in the right direction. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years with real estate?
Well, the sky is the limit. I mean, I don't want to say it because it's going to sound crazy, but I think with the positive attitude, the confidence that you build, because nobody is born with the confidence, you have to build it. I think work on yourself in the way that I feel comfortable to accomplish the highest things in this world. And I'm gonna end with, like, I didn't want to talk about my parents, but that changed me, I used to get emotional. That's what I didn't want to touch that, but sorry.
No, it's okay. I can't imagine how hard that would be, and it's still really fresh.
Yes. It happened 3 months ago. I'm trying to be professional here, and but my parents were young. That's the reason, 64, 65, and they were a big support, you know. So after they died, I couldn't work for a few months, of course, during the process that they were sick and after. So I learned something from that experience, that a lot of people call me saying, thank you for your parents. They helped me on this and that, and things that I didn't imagine they were doing. So what I learned from that is like, not everything is about money, you know, not everything is about us. After that event, I decided to create a seminar to help people to find deals. And I didn't have a script, or I didn't have a class prepared for them, but I say, I'm gonna do it this day. And it took me a few days of my time of finding deals to prepare this class and help people. There were about 20 people in the class, and about 70% of that people, the person that came, they're no stopping. They're finding deals. They got their first flips. They have, some of them, they got 2 or 3 so far, and that happens 2 months ago or less than 2 months ago. Some of the students that were there, one guy goes into her 6 or 7 property now. And every time they call me, Roxy, I got my first property. What do I do next? You know, it's like that excitement, that happiness that I create for them. It's the best feeling ever. And that was part of my purpose. So for now, it's like, I want to make enough money so I can retire soon and start just helping people to start this business successfully, and spend time with my kids, you know, on the beach, and go to Hawaii and other places, and just be, you know, wealthy enough so I can help other people and make happiness affect people in the positive way. So,
well, you are so awesome. I'm glad you could find the motivation and a new purpose. Well, a renewed purpose after going through what you've went through these last few months, and obviously everyone in the chat is expressing their sympathies and support. And what an awesome way to turn a very challenging experience into an idea that is focused on helping others succeed, just like you've had other people help you succeed. So everyone can find you on Facebook, right? And so maybe coaching's in your future. Obviously, you have
I mean, right now I don't have a lot of time to do classes because, you know, people say, oh, I'm successful because I went to this class, and now where's your next class? Okay, it's not like I need to focus on me in creating my wealth first, right? But before I do all this, but it's gonna come. I mean, I'm gonna try to do one every 2 or 3 months, and it's gonna be 1 or 2 days of how to find deals, because I think that's what my expertise is. I know how to find deals. I don't have a problem finding deals. You know, if I want to flip a house tomorrow, I know how to find it. And right now I'm taking my time, because still I cry every day, but I still have to work. So I whip, you know, let's go, we have to work. And until I get better, of course. But I would do the classes. Right now it's in English, but I mean in Spanish, but I'm gonna do one in English also, because a lot of people ask me. My phone number I'm gonna share is my business number.
I'll type it in as you go for it. Go for it.
385-219-9515. Let me write it down, because that's my business, and 385-219-9515. Okay,
great.
My email, Roxy. I'm gonna share my Roxy Chamo. Let me see, Roxy.chamo@gmail. Okay, at gmail.com. I will start doing house tours more often. So I got this property that I'm selling. I was telling you, I bought 4 houses from one tired landlord that didn't know how to do with eviction from New York. I bought those 4 houses on seller finance, 0 down, 3.5% interest for 5 years. And now I'm selling that house. I'm putting about 15 rehab. I bought it for 240, 250. and it's gonna sell for over $400,000.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's coming to the market soon. So I'm gonna do a house tour probably next week on that, and I'm gonna start doing more house tours. So it's my way to, connect with people, tell them what I'm doing, and also partner probably with some of you.
Well, I want to come to your next event about how to find houses, because and I think a lot of people after this call are going, hey, if Roxy could do it, I want to be able to do it. So I think it's awesome. So everybody reach out to Roxy, follow her on Facebook. That seems like the best place to find your stuff. You've got her contact info. Roxy, we could go on and on and on. Thanks so much for sharing, especially your personal stuff. I know everybody was super inspired, and keep crushing it out there. And I hope to connect with you more offline.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you guys, everybody.
Hey, have a great day. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.